So welcome back. Welcome back for the third part of the Neuroscience and Neuroreflexology. This is about how to help our clients to break habits, to pay attention, to take decisions, and all this subject we have been talking about in part number 1 and 2. And this is what we are going to talk more about today. So let's see, we will go straight on with the next subjects. We were talking about the motor sensitive area in part number 2. This was the last we were talking about the motor sensitive area, and I was explaining about this question that the space of nerve endings, we have mostly more intensively, most quantity from the face directly to the brain, from the face and from the hands. Of course, many other questions are related to the motor sensitive area. The motor sensitive area, as I explained, it is a mixed function of motor sensitive functions. I can explain very easily one example. For instance, we are producing with the chemistry of the body and our organs and glands and everything, for instance, spit. Constantly, we are producing automatically spit if we are healthy. And as soon we have too much spit in our mouth, then we will swallow. And this is also automatically. So to produce spit, it is a function of the body. To feel the spit in the mouth when I have too much spit, this is a sensitive function, and to swallow it, it is a motor function. So this is just one example of things also happening because of this mixed function, motor sensitive or sensitive motor, depends which function is more dominating, the motor function or the sensitive function. Also, it could be, for instance, when I'm working with phantom pain, it also has to do with this motor sensitive area. So many things are going on there. In this question, to defend why neuroreflexology, especially from face and hand, is so effective, this is what we were talking about. Exactly because the hands and the face are taking the most of the space of this area. So this we also saw here in our homunculus drawing. So this is where we came to. Here some drawings to supporting that the face generally is really the place in the body where we have most nerve ending, and the even major parts or most sensitive area, it is around the mouth. And this is where the smiling muscles, the moving of the smiling muscle or the stimulating of the smiling muscle is coming into this history. And the same, the hand actually, we have like, if you can see our hand in this way, the full brain is around the hands. And actually in neurohand reflexology method, we are learning also in temporana therapy to stimulate around every finger in a special way. And this is the reason why we do that. So if you already is a temporana therapist, we are many temporana therapists here during this webinar, you will understand and never forget that the hands are so important in our rehabilitation plan as the face and the feet are. And this a little bit monotone treatment we are doing around all 10 fingers is so, so important. Never forget that, please. So what we have to understand, I already said it a couple of times, the body before the brain. Now we have been talking about the brain. I have explained about the brain for 2 hours constantly about the brain, about the brain, about the brain. But we have to understand, as I also already one time mentioned, that nothing will happen in the brain if our body is not working, because the brain depends totally 100% of our chemistry. And our chemistry comes from the body, not from the brain. Where is our chemistry coming from? From our glands, our hormonal glands. This is a very, very important function of our chemistry. It is our chemistry, but not only the glands, also the organs, the heart beating, the work of absolutely all organs is included in the changing. The brain will change. This is what happened because the brain cells are fed with chemistry from our body. And why do the chemistry change in the body? This is actually because of something outside the body. The body doesn't change the chemistry by itself. If we can imagine the chemistry is perfect, there must be something disturbing our chemistry to change. If not, the chemistry will not change. This something to disturb the chemistry, what is that? This is the happenings in our life. For instance, you know it perfectly from yourself. The heart beating can change. The heart beating can get faster or lower because of happenings. When you get scared or something happen in your surrounding, affecting you emotionally, your heart rate will change. And this will change immediately the brain in the same second. The same if you are getting upset, you are getting angry, your adrenal gland will change the chemistry. The adrenal gland will start up sending hormones in the system, adrenaline, and the brain will change immediately. All the organs, we also know about the good connection with the brain by the vagus nerve. This is a very common question. I also have courses about this question, good brain connection course. If somebody have an interest to know more about this related to nerve reflexology, we know it. We know how important is a good brain connection, and it is actually through the vagus nerve, which you can also learn more about, because this is also one of my 60 courses I'm offering from my online school about neuroreflexology, a specific vagus nerve course. But the vagus nerve doesn't only connect with the colon. The vagus nerve connect with other organs of our trunk. So any change in an organ will affect the work of our brain. So absolutely, the body becomes before the brain. And all this we talk about lately, even more than ever, about positive thinking. Positive, negative thinking, it affects our mind. Yes, but the way around is positive, negative thinking is not affecting our brain directly. Positive, negative thinking is affecting our chemistry. So it is at least important that our body works in a balance before we can change our mind. So we cannot separate this. No. So if you have a chemistry which is out of harmony, out of balance, you will not be able to change your brain. You will not be able to pay attention. You will not be able to change your own behavior. You will not be able to decide. You will not be able to do a plan and follow it if your chemistry is not working. So, of course, in a treatment plan for this subject, how to change the mind, we also need to treat the body. We cannot separate the body from the brain. Actually, we cannot separate anything inside the body. Everything works together. And this is, of course, also interesting to think about this, how the medicine is changing. They have a specialist for each organ, and a liver specialist only know about the liver. He don't have any idea what happens in the stomach and so on. It is actually not very logical thinking, no, because everything have to work together. This is just what it is. This is why it is so important with a holistic treatment always. Not only to treat one strict structure as separated. It must be done in a certain order. No, the chemistry before any other things. If not, nothing will happen. You can maybe change things for a second, but as a therapist, this is not what you want. You want to do something who lasts, really giving results. So this is also, I already talked about it, that I need to always add the step number 2 of the basic reflexology, neuroreflexology, facial reflexology into any plan. If not, it doesn't work. We will not have long-lasting results and a good treatment if you don't do that. I would love to talk more about this question, the body before the brain, but because I have limited time, I have to just talk about it here. But one thing I want to pay attention when we talk about this question, of course, we learned and when the neurons are producing this charge, which is called the synapses, there is a production of neurotransmitters, but it only doesn't happen there. No, we also have production of neurotransmitters or effects of production of neurotransmitters, for instance, in our large intestine. And actually, 95% of the serum of the body is produced in our large intestine. This is also why it is so important with a good brain connection to have a good intestinal function. 95% of serotonin. Think about it. This is one of the medication used in the medicine for depression, mostly in an artificial way. And actually, it is possible for our own large intestine to produce serotonin. This is something difficult to understand sometimes about the medicine, about the Western traditional medicine, that they do not relate the questions into this kind of natural processes of the body. So yes, this was something about the good and brain connection, and about how the whole body must be in balance before we can have absolutely any result with our brain. So of course, I want to talk about the addictional method I'm using for this specific connection or combination to master the brain. And one of the techniques I'm using, it is what we call scalp stimulation. In our school, we are learning about this method in the basic education of the full facial reflexology, the 5 levels of facial reflexology. This is a method we use very much in rehabilitation, of course, because rehabilitation is about brain issues, brain dysfunction, brain damage, and also mental illness. Well, the scalp stimulation is used. And for this specific treatment protocol, it will always be the yellow, because the yellow, this is the way we express it in the facial reflexology, it is related to the frontal lobe. So the frontal lobe, you have already heard how important it is to stimulate and balance the function of the frontal lobe during this whole webinar. So should be easy to understand why the yellow. Also, what I can say about the specific method, the scalp stimulation, which we also call cranial lines and points, it is a very, very sure way to stimulate the brain, to use this method, because this is a method when we work from the scalp, where the stimulation do not have to travel by the central nervous system into the brain via the brain stem. This is a benefit. This stimulation goes directly to the frontal lobe without this travel. If I use areas on the face, I use points on the face, I use nerve points on the face, all these different methods of microsystems we have, it must travel by the central nervous system into the brain, from the trunk into the midbrain, where distribution will happen. And there is a risk there. We can have like traffic jam in our brainstem. Yes, it happens, especially if you have too many monkeys going on in your brain, or too much firework, then there will be traffic jam, and the impulse will not reach the brain, maybe never. No. So it's good to have some method where we can stimulate directly the frontal lobe, as we can with this method. Of course, when I said we have traffic jam, neurotransmitters is in queue to get out from the brain to the body, and also to get in, because neurotransmitters are traveling out and in by the trunk of the brain, by the brain stem. And I know when I said never, it's maybe I think in one treatment it will not happen that I can balance this traffic jam. But of course, if my clients have more and more treatments, this would be possible. Of course, also if I practice meditation, this will also balance with the time. Yes, so this is actually also related very much to children with, for instance, ADHD, what I'm talking about now. Too much traffic jam, too much monkeys and fireworks in the brain. This is what it is. Well, but this is cranial lines and points, this method, where we have in our basic education, of course, we have combination of different cranial lines and points for the different brain areas, for all the lobes, actually. And it is combined different depending of the case we are working on. So already, as I said, in the basic education of facial reflexology, we learned this method for brain-related issues. The next I will do, of course, this is a very popular muscle stimulation. I do not call it a muscle massage. I call it a muscle stimulation, because there is a difference in between what we call muscle massage and muscle stimulation. And this special technique I'm using in many of my therapy, I have this method included in the basic facial reflexology, also in beauty treatment, of course, and also in Timbrana reflex rehabilitation method, it is included. And actually this method, it is from Argentine Dr. Castillo Morales, another of my very, very big masters in my life. I did education with him, and he were a specialist in disabled children. this was the way I met him, and this was the way I became a student of him. And he had been an enormous inspiration in my life as the therapy. So this muscle stimulation, stimulating in a special way all the muscle of the face. Of course, you know now why. Because the face is the place in the body where we have most nerve connections to the brain directly, and especially around the mouth. So around the mouth, it's not only one muscles, because muscle works together in groups. And this is why we need to stimulate, of course, all the muscles of the face in this specific way, but very much the group of muscles related to the smiling. Yes, it's said that we are using 46 muscles to smile. But here we are talking about stimulating the big muscles, and big muscles, smiling muscles, is 4. Yes, so of course. And what I will also tell you, that the muscles of the face, we also know that there is like a neurological relationship in between the muscles of the face and the muscles of the body. So this way around, by stimulating the face muscle, we are also working with the posture of the body, because we don't have to forget that the posture of the body also is sending messenger to the insula, telling the insula about the emotion related to your posture. So yes, this way around, we also work with the muscles of the face to correct the posture of the body. Very, very important additional method of facial reflexology, neuroreflexology for the face. So we are also including in this specific treatment for the mind the method Brodmann. And the method Brodmann, it is a method I have developed myself during these many years, working again with my mind in the disabled children. I think it is obvious to hear that disabled children, they have a very, very big space in my heart and in my brain. So yes, I used a lot of years to find out how I could stimulate the specific areas of Brodmann. And what is the specific areas of Brodmann? I already said that we have 4 brain lobes. We have the frontal lobe, we have the temporal lobe, we have the parietal lobe, and we have the occipital lobe. And divided into these 4 brain lobes, there is 55 smaller specific areas. And these 55 smaller specific areas are communicating depending of the action or the function or the abilities we need. So they communicate with each other in a networking. As I already said, there's never only one areas inside the brain working alone. They need to work together. So you can imagine how many combination of networking there can be inside such a brain. And with 55 specific areas, which can be combined in thousands different ways, actually. And this is actually possible to stimulate these 55 areas. I would never do one area alone, no. According to what I just explained, no. I need to coordinate. I need to find out what we call the root. A root is minimum 3 specific areas working together. And I am so happy because I have a route to stimulate the insula. I have a route to stimulate the limbic center, and also I have a route to stimulate the cingulate gyrus. So of course, this is what I'm going to do with this specific method to stimulate for these functions. So I had also this possibility with the nerve point from the cyber therapy. Yes, I do it twice. I do like also a pattern where I'm connecting the functions of the brain in the right order. I already mentioned that the order is so extremely, extremely important. So this is the Brodmann method. Then I'm also using the colon link. The colon link is also a microsystem developed by myself. I began developing about 27 years ago the colon link. I wanted to find a microsystem where I can go directly to the gland. So I found this by studying nerve relationship and nerve connections of the face with the intestine. And of course, the intestine is connected with every other organ, every other structure inside the body and the brain. But at this moment, I was very, very interested in finding directly connection, the best and fastest connection to stimulate the glands. Exactly as I told you, because the chemistry of the body comes before the brain. Also, the chemistry of the body is influencing in absolutely any state of illness of a human, in absolutely any state. Even if you cut yourself, you are bleeding, the chemistry is important in the process to close it in good and to not have infection and this kind of things. The chemistry is involved in absolutely any function of our body. So my very big interest was to find a system. And again, with the colon link, as I am also stimulating beside points for the glands, we call this in this case link points for the glands, I'm stimulating this colon area around the mouth. So again, I'm stimulating this area where I have a very direct and many nerve connections exactly to the brain. So colon link, it is a great method used in facial reflexology constantly. This is one of the additional methods. As I told you, we have 7 basic steps and we have 8 additionals. I think in 98% of all treatment I'm doing myself, I will include the colon link as one of my great additional. I always said the additional treatment we learned in our basic facial reflexology education of the 5 levels. This is the diamonds of the history of facial reflexology, absolutely. So yes, it is about doing this stimulation around the mouth again, because we have this huge nerve connection to the brain, and also the points for the glands is placed inside this area where we also have really strong connection to the brain. It works so well. And think about it, what I will tell you now, that absolutely all mental illnesses which the group of clients, of people around the world dealing with mental illnesses, I think this is a group which is, how can I say it, most badly attended in the medicine of all. The way we are treating mental illnesses has nothing to do with the reason, because any mental illness is because of a dysfunction of a gland. And in the medicine, the gland is not treated for any mental illnesses, even not for depression. This is curious, no? But it also says something about how it is and why it is so great a method to help for any mental state, for any emotional state, for any depression. So this is a very great method used in facial reflexology, which I also want to include in the method combined for the mind. So let's see. I do two things. By stimulating the colon area of the face, I'm stimulating the colon of the body. It is a reflex area to the colon. So this way around, I'm also working with a good brain connection. And actually, inside this colon area, there is points, nerve points for any other organ, for any other structure than the gland also, but all the body is presented there in a microsystem. So I'm treating the intestine. I'm stimulating the connection intestine-brain. I'm also stimulating the rest of the body, included all the glands. And then in the end, I do what we call a balancing. Balancing is a method very much used in neuroreflexology. I have no method of neuroreflexology where I do not balance. What is the meaning with balancing? What does it mean? Generally, it could be to press on 2 points, certain points of the same time. When I do this, of course, I need to know exactly the right point to do it with. It's not just, do 2 points. We need to know exactly which point to obtain a certain effect. But it is like when I press on 2 points, for instance, it could be with a link point for the thyroid, with a plexus for larynx plexus point, and then with the same link point for the thyroid with an NP point for the colon, a blue NP point. This kind of balancing, we call balancing to do this. And this is a way that after I have done a general stimulation of the whole intestine from here, I do this kind of connections. So you will see this very often. Already when I talked about the basic for the mind, I was talking about stimulating yellow points, for instance. It is also a kind of connection to something specific. This is what is meant to when we talk about balancing. So this was a colon link. The colon link, as I said, it is a great method and there's a lot to learn about it. Then I also use this question to connect the 2 hemispheres. It was about the right hemisphere, which is a hemisphere which is managing everything who is emotional, art, dancing, painting, everything who is creative is managed by this brain part, the right brain part. And in the left side of the brain, the left hemisphere, this is here where all logical thinking is going on. Not only thinking, also a visual idea about logic. It is here we have the mathematic skills, we have the skills to understand maybe geometry, forms, all these kind of things with numbers and calculation. And as I already explained, we need a balance. We need both qualities. What is it when we have too much dominated our right side of the brain? Then we become some kind too emotional. And also it could lead us to not see certain things in our life and to mistake, because we need to have this logical coming in and tell, oh, look, extra time at this before you just jump into the swimming pool, no? Yes, so this is what we need, a balance. And this balance we actually begin developing naturally when we are babies. The first we are doing it is to practice to grab. No, first directly we grab, no, and then we will grab crossing, no. This is actually the first happening. Then later we will start up crawling. This is the most natural. I know there's many people, they are never crawling. But then also when they start walking, it's also a coordination. Actually, this grabbing and this crawling and to start to walk, this is a coordination of the two brain areas by nature. This is important because at the same time we are developing this, we also develop a crossing, a visual crossing. And we see very often that children who have not crawled, not all of them, no, but many children who have never passed this period of life where they're crawling, they will need glasses. They will have visual problems very early in life, many times already before they go to school. And also they will have difficulties with school questions. For instance, mathematics skills. They will also have problems with reading. Everything was combination. And what is not combination? It's easier to ask this way around. Everything in life is coordination. No? Coordination between two hands. Coordination is to walk. Coordination is to run, to not fall over your own feet. Coordination is everything. So this is one of the first things I'm controlling when I'm working with children with this kind of difficulties in life. It is, how is the coordination? No, should we begin there? No, to sure that the coordination of the left and the right hemisphere is okay. And many times I find that it is not. And this is not only in children, also in adults. And this coordination can get more unbalanced also because of questions happening outside the body, emotions, stress, and everything happening outside the body, affecting our chemistry, affecting our body. Also because of muscle tension, we can have coordination problems. So we also need to include, of course, in our treatment, stimulation, extra stimulation, I will say, for the coordination, because actually in all this method we are using in facial reflexology, where we are working on both sides on the face at the same time, it is a way to strengthen the coordination. So actually already in step number 1, where we are working on the NP points of the face, at the same time, we are working on a better coordination. But then in the end of the treatment, when I have balanced the whole body's chemistry and I have also balanced the brain's function, then we will always finish with an extra touch to strengthen the coordination of the brain. So this is basically the tools I am using to build up a treatment for a better mind. It means when we set a better mind, I will just repeat it. It is about to be better to focusing, be better to pay attention, be better to take decisions, be better to correct your own behavior, which I also think is a very important question, no, for self, and to help our clients also to do so. To be better for all this, to be more clear, to feel better with oneself. This is actually what it is about. The best moment you can do something to change your life, to reach the heaven, the clouds where you want to go, this is when you are in good conditions. The best moment is not when you are feeling bad. No, the best moment is when you're feeling good, to do everything very organized. I know this perfectly for my own life. So yes, there's many things. No, don't never forget to smile and to stretch and to breathe. No, this is actually a way where you help yourself. No, don't forget it never. Stretch, smile and breathe. No, help yourself, because it's also important that we as therapists, we are in a good balance when we are going to treat other persons and to help other around us. So as I already said, this is very important when you want to do a therapy, especially when it's neuroreflexology. What is very, very important, it is really to do it well. You must learn exactly how to do to get the good results. It's not just to try to do, neuroreflexology must be done very, very exactly. You see, a nerve point, it's not a big area, no? It's really here. And there's also a difference. What we can have many points. We have already on the face many points. See, I have 21 NP points on the face. I have 210 new acupuncture points on the face. I have 564 nerve points on the face. You see? So, of course, all these points, you can stimulate them different. You can, for instance, press on a point. You can use a needle on a point. You can also circulate on a point. You can circulate one way around and another way around. It gives different effects. So first, this point must be pressed where it is. Then you have to do the right stimulation on this point. Then you have to do it in the right order also. The right order in the treatment plan. So the processes are happening in the right order. Not only do it causally, because this will never work. And this is, of course, why I insist that it is so important with education. To do it right, to have the same results as I have had myself with thousands of clients in my life, and as well as many of my students also have around the world. So you see, I have been talking about the face, basically. I also mentioned the hand. And for many, many years, I thought, oh, the hands is nothing. No, the hands is not very important, until one day I discovered what I'm talking about here, that all these nerve connections from the hands is so important as the face. And then I were so lucky in my life to get in touch with a Korean doctor first, and then with Argentine Dr. Maria Perez, which I have been learning from in Buenos Aires, the most excellent hand reflexology or hand puncture specialist in this earth. And I began also using the hand, especially first of all, I use the hand for disabled, because as I already told you about my heart and my brain and disabled children. No, so my interest was first of all children with brain issues. And as Dr. Maria Perez also have worked for 60 years of her life with this method and with children with the same disease as me, there the interest came together. And the hand reflexology is an excellent method, so very interesting. No, we have as we have 564 nerve points on the face, we have 382 nerve points on the hands. No, it is an excellent method that I very often also today include, for instance, when I'm working with fibromyalgia clients. I have a specific protocol where I'm using a combination of face and hand. No, I also have other combination where I'm using combination face and feet. And this was to come to the feet, which I have not been talking too much about. And this is not, again, because I said foot reflexology is not good. Absolutely not. Foot reflexology is excellent. The difference is that foot reflexology works in a different way in the body than the face and hand reflexology. This is the question, because there's not the same concentration of nerve endings. But foot reflexology, it's much, much stronger when it comes to the question to move the blood around the body. I know the way I am doing foot reflexology, I'm also using the Chinese method of foot reflexology. No, this is different from other methods of foot reflexology. There's several methods of foot reflexology. Well, the Chinese foot reflexology, I know it moves the blood around the body as in the same way as when we are doing a sport, running or bicycling. And when this happens, automatically increase of certain hormones in the body is like released to the blood. So, of course, when it comes to the question, especially to work with children, disabled children, they cannot move themselves, many of them, they have motor function problems. I need foot reflexology into my plan, of course, because I need to move the blood. I need to have blood circulation, because not to forget that actually the blood is the function taking all the chemistry around the body to the brain cells, to any other cells in the body, to the muscles, to absolutely everything. So yes, this is why the foot reflexology also is extremely important. So you'll also see, for instance, in the trauma therapy method I have developed to treat traumas, because what we are learning today, it's not to treat traumas. It's not so powerful a trauma release. It reorganizes the emotions, but it is not the same as releasing a trauma. It's different. And to release a trauma, I need another protocol. I need to work on the three systems sharing memory in our body and brain. So, of course, a trauma therapy course, it's different organized. No, to do that. I did the same, a huge, profoundly research, which is a mechanism of storing traumas inside our brain, in our mind, and in the body. And then I coordinated a special plan for that. So this is how it has to be done. So let's see if we need to organize this a little bit related to my education. It is that the basic facial reflexology, of course, is the base of everything. And then it is possible to study additional courses where we are going deeper into different questions, as for instance today. But actually, the treatment method, I built it up for this question, control your mind. Everybody can do. It's not a must that you must be a facial reflexology. Everybody can do without any background, actually. Or it could be another professional which is not facial reflexology. So this course I have created, it is for everyone who have any interest in learning how to manage this question. So after that, I also did the trauma course. Well, this is one of the newest I have translated from my Spanish school to English and Danish. And the trauma course is also a course that anybody can add into any other education or without any education in the field of therapy. It could be the first experience to learn something of that. And also the neurofood reflexology, of course, it is a combination course to neurofacial reflexology and to hand reflexology, but it can also be used as a supplement for body massage or for food reflexology as a additional method for food reflexology, and so on. So not all the courses, absolutely, but many of them, but not all, is based in the basic education first. The Temprana Therapy Rehabilitation course, which is the longest course I have, is 200 hours online with me and 200 other hours to work by yourself, or maybe more, 300 hours. So this, you must be a facial reflexology first. Well, what I think it is, where more than this I came to now, but I had a very interesting question from therapists and for clients during many years, actually since I began working with facial reflexology. The question is, why do we see, the most of us, I would claim that everybody, but the most of us at least, why do we see lighting? Why do we see lighting when we are getting a facial reflexology? Why do we see lighting when we are doing meditation? I mean, you see colors in front of your eyes closed. You see colors, different colors. Sometimes you see only one color. Sometimes you can see several colors mixing. And I have been looking for a long time, actually for years. Is there a good explanation, scientific explanation about that? I would like to talk a bit about this also. So let's see. Let's take a look into this question also. The light. I hope that you who are with me here, everybody agree. Have you seen light yourself when you have been meditating, or you have been relaxing, or you have been having a treatment? I don't only say facial reflexology, it could also be Reiki. I also tried to see a lot of light when I had a Reiki session, or during my meditation. I always do, but sure, during facial reflexology. Yes, we see lights. And I was looking into this question very much. Maybe I will find a scientific research about it one day. I hope so. But what I was finding out that there is some research done, especially by medical doctors specialized in the vision, no? And this is about when you, for instance, by night, you go to sleep, you close your eyes, then in this moment, it's very common that we see some light, no? But this light is different from the light I want to talk about now. This light is like spots, different colors of spots, or like white light spots, or it could even be another pattern, but there's some pattern in it. Like brain waves, something like that. No, it's small spots. This is the most common, at least for me. And what I found out when we have this situation, we are still awake, we are going to sleep, we see this light. Actually, what it said, the science about it, it is that it is because we are like storing still some light inside our visual system. Like there's still some light from when we had our eyes open inside the system. I hope I explained that well. So when you close your eyes, then it is this light that's still not like used we are seeing. No? And after a little while, it will disappear. This is the most common. But this is not what I'm talking about when I'm talking about light. When I have therapy, I am seeing something big blue, very nice color blue. No, sometimes. And maybe in another session, I will see a big orange, big round orange, beautiful color orange, not small spot. I see a pure, clear color in my mind. Sometimes I can see during one treatment the whole picture of one color. Also, I tried to change this orange, suddenly became something black into, which I think it is not very good, no? But more bright, I see the color. I interpret it myself as it is better. So it looks like, let me see. This was the first about talking about when we are going to sleep, we see some small spots, and it could even be a pattern, something like this. But when I meditate or I'm getting therapy, I see this. No, I see this, a fantastic color in my mind. And it could also be this color. It could be a little bit mixed, as you see here, or it could be a bright blue color, or a light blue color. The same here, meditation, facial reflexology, I keep on seeing colors, or it could also be these beautiful green colors. The colors I have experienced to see myself, it is the color I'm using for my therapy, these 6 colors: red, pink, orange, blue, green, which I'm missing, yellow, of course the yellow. This is the color I see myself, and this is the color that my clients during all these years also have told me about, that they are seeing during, especially the first, before you go to sleep, before you go into this brainwave where you are sleeping, this color is coming out. So you see, this is the color I'm talking about. Now this is different from what I talked about with when you just go into sleep, before you go to sleep and close your eyes and see another pattern of color. I am talking about these clear colors. And well, as I cannot find any scientific explanation of it, of course I have also thought about why this happened. And my conclusion is that it is actually this firework happening inside our brain. When we have firework, which we always have, no? So when the firework is slowing down from gamma to delta, when it's slowing down, it is creating this light. This is my own conclusion, because I actually noticed that it's not when I'm laying on the table to get a treatment. It takes some time. When I'm getting calm, this, my own light show will happen behind my closed eyes. So this is just to give an explanation of why this, because I tell you that I really many times have this question from clients and also from other therapists using my method. They ask me, Lone, why is my clients asking, seeing light? They ask me, no? So yes, we also talked a little bit about this. I think it is like a effect of this calming down the firework inside our brain. So now it came to the point where the time is over. And I will just tell you, I don't know if you maybe noticed that I did really a new course, How to Manage the Mind with Neuroreflexology, where you can learn exactly how to do the exactly protocol, to follow the order, and to move your hands and to press on the point in the way it has to be done. And this, of course, I have really done in a way that it is understandable for, as I already said, even for new, if it is your first experience in neuroreflexology, you will be able to learn it. A very, very effective combination for this question. And I also did it for a reasonable value, so everybody can be with me. And this is especially for the group who have been with me here on this 3 parts of neuroreflexology webinar. So I just want to thank you very much to be here. I also want to remind you, keep on smiling, keep on stretching, and keep on breathing in the right way. And this will make everything easier for you in your life, I promise you. So thank you so very much for this time. I hope I will meet you again very soon in online or in the real life. Thank you for today. Take very much care of yourself.